Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Clary Bounce, and if you are new, welcome, and if you are an old subscriber, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the comments. Thank you guys so much for sharing and everything, and I'm so grateful because all the comments make me want to come back for more videos. When somebody asks a question and then I have to do a follow-up, and it's inspiring. So today I'll be talking about housing in Korea, how affordable, availability, where to get a house, what to look for a house, what not to look for, signing a contract, all of that. So let's get to the video. I know that there are so many questions when it comes to housing in Korea, but how affordable they are, or where to get a house, how to get a house. So today, that's what we're going to be talking about today. So in today's video, I'll talk about what to look for in a house, how to get a house, where to get a house. And actually my house agent was kind enough to go with me he accepted to take me to the houses that he has available. So we are going to go out today to try to look at the houses that he has. So the first thing to consider when you're looking for a house is the budget, how much you are willing to pay monthly and how much you are willing to pay as a security deposit. So we have the security deposit, we call it the key money here, and then we have the monthly rent. So obviously bigger houses are more expensive and smaller houses are less expensive, and then the newer the building, the more expensive it is, and the older the building, the less expensive. And then also the deposit, that's the key money. The more expensive the key money, the less expensive the rent, and the more expensive the rent, the less expensive the key money. So it depends on the house price, depends on so many things. It just depends on the key money, it depends on how new the building is, it depends on where it is located, and actually it depends on the size. So depending on your budget, you're going to go. Once you get the house, there are so many house agents. We call them budongsan. That every street has at least 4 house agents. So you just go to a house agent. You are free to look at the house. You don't have to take the first house that you see. You are free to look through houses, maybe 7 or 8, and make a choice. So when you go to, or sometimes too, some good houses are hard to get. So if you know someone who is moving out, then you just move in. That way it's easier for you. You bypass the because you have, when you do a house, you have to pay the house agent fee. So if you are lucky to love a building and then you know somebody who is moving out, you just exchange, you just swap, you just give the person the key money and then you just move in and you keep paying the rent. We do that a lot. That's how I got here. A friend of mine was moving out and then we just swapped. Then you just keep paying the bills as if you are like you bypass the house agent and then you don't need to pay a fee. But if you go through a house agent, you have to pay the house agent fee. You know, that's how they make the money, from whatever percentage the house owners give them and whatever percentage you pay for moving in through them. So that's how to get the houses. So personally, what I look for in a building is the proximity to the bus stop, to the train station, to work, to school, to the city, all of those things. Because if you don't have a car like me, it will really be difficult for you if you live far away from the bus stop, because even though the bus stops are really like everywhere, but some houses tend to be really far off from where you can get a bus. So if you are like me and your means of transportation is the subway and the bus, you need to consider staying close to where it's like a walking distance, because you cannot keep spending money on taxis every other day wherever you go to. And then when it comes to work and school, most schools are really far off, maybe in Seoul or some other places, and then work is far off. So you have to balance, you have to know how to balance it. If you go to school every day, you should get a house that is closer to your school. If you go to school like just few times in a week and then you work, you should get a house that is closer to work. So you just need to balance it. I live closer to where I work, and I travel all the way. I travel 2 hours to school, but I don't mind because I live beside the subway, I live beside the bus stop, I live in the city, I live where I can have job work anytime, I can come back home anytime. And also Korea is secure, so I don't want to say that living far off is insecure. Everywhere in Korea is secure. That's the best thing about Korea. Everywhere is secure. You have CCTV camera everywhere. So that's what I look for personally. Also, I look for a clean building because there tend to be a lot of roaches in Korea. That if you get an old building, the roaches. One point, there was a time I lived in the house. There were so many roaches that the roach got into my ear. My PP knows the story. I had to call. And then also you have to look out for, you need to check the heating system. You need to check the AC because summer tends to be really hot, that if your AC is not working, you will not cope. And then the winters too, winters are really cold, that if the heating system is not working, you will not cope. So you have to make sure that all of those things are okay. So that's why it's good to move in. It's good to change houses when it's cold so that you can test the heating system, because the AC, you can always test the AC anytime, but you won't know how the heating system works until it's really cold. So check those too. If the heating system is not working, nobody is fixing your heating system in the middle of winter. They won't fix it. The house owners will keep turning you around. And the AC too, the AC can be fixed, but the heating system is really important. I hate cold, and if I'm in a house where the heating system is not working, then you might actually die. A lot of people have died because of cold in their houses, a lot. So that's what I look out for. And then you want to also look for a house that is not really expensive, because sometimes they really rip us off. If you are not careful, you'll be ripped off. If you need to really, sometimes if you are, let's say, in room 1 and you can be paying like $200, and then room 2 will be paying $150. So you have to make sure that they are not ripping you off, because every house agent make their, I think they make their rents depending on how gullible you look like. So there was a time I was living in a building, I was paying like $100 more than the next person. We had the same things, and it's because I didn't know how to bargain, or they took me for JK. So that's what you should look out for. Comes to the how much, the price range of houses. The lowest you can get a house for as low as $120. I'll be using dollars just to make it easier. You can get a house for as cheap as $120, and you can get a house for as expensive as maybe $5,000. But we have to remain in the range of less than 500, just because we don't have that money to spend on a house that is not even ours, you know. So it depends. Like I said, most house deposits are really expensive. Then the rents are cheaper, because when the house owners get the expensive deposits, they can invest the money or that and more money. So they rather, if you see a house where you can make an expensive deposit and cheaper rents, is good, because whenever you're moving out, you get back that deposit, and then it's good business for the owner too, because the money will make them more money. They can invest it, they can keep it in the bank and get more interest or whatever. So if you have the deposit to make, you can always make it. So let's just say that you make a deposit of $2,000. Depending the house, your rent will really be cheaper. Any house that the deposit is from $2,000 is a good house, and you get a good monthly rent, and it's a clean house. So some houses they don't even have deposits. Some houses don't have deposits. Some houses can take $500, some $1,000. So it just depends on how lucky you are, I guess. And then the most expensive house, they always try to cover up that you don't have to pay the bills. Most houses come with everything inclusive, like they have furniture inclusive, the bills, the electric bill, gas bill, everything is included. Some other houses, that one is better. For me, it's better to take a house that everything is included so that you can consume whatever you like. But it's a disadvantage if you are never home, or maybe you feel like you're paying more than what you use. But it's an advantage if you're home. You can always consume whatever you like. The price is standard. This come with everything included, the bills, the furniture. There's houses where you just move in with your clothes and your food, everything is inside. The houses where you have to bring everything else, so it just depends on what you see. But I promise you, houses are really affordable here. Houses are more affordable than anywhere in the world. And if you feel like you want to live with somebody, you can always get a bigger house and then you split the bills. That's what most people do. But personally, I don't like, I could never stay with anybody. I don't like staying with people because I feel like it's more economical to stay alone than when you stay with somebody. But there are people who cannot live alone. Maybe you have an extreme medical condition that requires that you always have somebody beside you. You can always get somebody and split the bills. Most people live with roommates. If you want to have a roommate, you get a bigger apartment and then you share the bills. It's really affordable. Houses in Korea are really affordable compared to anywhere in the world, I guess. I'm sure, because where I stay, I'll make a house tour one day. Where I live, my friend in the States, I think she pays like $2,000 for a house like this, but I pay less than $500, so that's a steal. So we get cheaper houses than a lot of people. You renew every contract you have. Like if you have a 1-year contract and then you stay for over a year, you have to come back and renew. Most houses just go, like if you have a 1-year contract, after 1 year you just keep paying. It's considered as if you are still in the same contract, which I don't mind staying, just renewing or whatever, but it makes no difference because it's the same thing. And what most people are afraid of is that they're afraid that you might run away, but you cannot actually run away if you have the deposit with them. So that's why. And then some house owners, they renovate and then they have to increase the rent. That way at the end of a contract they might ask you to leave, or they might renew the contract with you on different terms. So you just have to watch out for all those things. And then when you get a house too, always you need to go to immigration and register your address to your ID card, because at any time, most times if you don't stay if you are not where your address and your ID card is, it's a little bit risky. So it's always advisable that the address on your card, on your ID card, should be the same as your actual address. Or if you have somebody living there who can update you on anything, because sometimes the immigration sends out letters to where your address and your ID card is, and it could be an important information and then you miss out. Maybe they could tell you that you need to come over to the immigration for something, and if you miss out, then you might risk being deported. So it's always good to have somebody live where your address and your ID card stays, or you actually live where the address and your ID card says you live at. Also, in case you lost something, if you lose something, they just trace it back to your address and they give it to you. Maybe a phone, a bag, your ID card, your wallet, anything. They'll always have to trace it back to you. So I think that's it on housing. Is it sketchy or it's okay? So now we are going to go out and meet my house agent. I think he's waiting, so we'll meet the house agent and see how many apartments he has for us, and then we can see how houses in Korea are, how they are built, or how they look like. But mine, I'm going to make a house tour one day, maybe if I get organized enough. If I get organized enough to show you around, I'm going to do a house tour so I can just get an idea. Let's go and hunt the house. Back, and unfortunately for us, my house agent had just one apartment left, so we just checked out one apartment. I'm so sorry. I thought that we were going to go through maybe like 3 or 4, but he had just one left. I think everybody else took out the houses. around this area houses are really scarce. So he told me that this time it's a really bad time because many people are trying to move into houses before it gets cold so that they can settle down. So we just had to look at one apartment, which I'm going to insert after this. So, but my sister is going to be looking for a house soon, and now I have to go with her to the house hunting. So I'm going to try to record hunting a house with her so that you guys can really get more of how Korean houses look like. I'm so sorry guys, I'm so sorry. He tried to let us come with him or to show me the apartments, but unfortunately he had just one, so I'm sorry. So I'm going to insert that clip from the house, and thank you guys so much. Thank you. I'm running out of breath. Should I go first? And the one room. This is one of the rooms. What's it like to hold his hand when he tells you that you are all he wants? It really has the midnight. Oh, I'm thinking about him. Wardrobe. It has AC. It's facing this way. Living room. Enough light. And this is the second room. The washer and the dryer. What's it like? Kitchen space. When he tells you that you are all he wants, and it's midnight. Oh, I'm thinking about him. It comes already with everything. This is the oven, the stove. House tour. I'm going to do my house tour if you like, so just comment, let me know if you want me to do the house tour. If I get organized enough, like I said, because my house, one side looks like it's a kids section, one side looks like my dad's section, one side looks, my house is never really fully organized. So if I get organized enough, if you like, just comment, let me know. I'm going to do my house tour and let you see how, get an idea of how the house looks like, or I take you with the house hunting for my sister's house. She wants to move out, so let me know which one you want. And thank you so much for staying, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, and bye.